What's going on, everyone? This is Adam and Craig with Grandstand Golf. In this show, we're talking the PGA DFS fades for the Shriners Open. We also dropped a DFS pick show and a DFS sleeper show, so make sure to check those ones. And we'll be going live on Twitch Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, full DFS breakdown of the entire field. So make sure to come join us for that. Bring some questions, interact with us, let us know what you're thinking for your lineups.
Yeah. We'll go through a little bit more why we're fading some of these people and what we're thinking for roster construction this week too.
So we're creating this just as the news as Tony Finau was tested positive for COVID-19. So hopefully he's doing well. He's asymptomatic. That kind of shakes things up a little bit. So he wasn't in actually our picks or fades show. So I don't know if it changes things much for either of us, but...
No, I mean, just make sure you get him out of any lineups you already have him in.
And I'll be looking quickly here to see where his price were and how that might shift ownership. People that are just doing one plug and play for another person, that might bump ownership out for people around him, right?
Yeah.
So starting off with my fades, Jason Kokrak. He is 8,900 on DraftKings, 10,100 on FanDuel. He's played here 8 times. He's only got top 21s, and it was 20th. It's really not an impressive performance at TBC Summerlin. He's missed 4 cuts in his last 9 tournaments. I don't know, at high 8,000s on DraftKings, I think there's a ton of other places you can go. So just I know he's the pure kind of ball striker that, might pop in a model, but I'm not playing him this week.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised with the price. There's a lot of guys that I like better around the same in the same price range. So, I mean, the only argument I would make for him is if everyone feels that way, and so you throw something on there as a contrarian play.
Yeah.
But I don't see him getting in my player pool, and if he does, it'll just be as like a single, very very low weight ownership.
Yeah. Next up, Keegan Bradley, 8,000 on DraftKings, 9,100 on FanDuel. He had a really good week last week down in Mississippi, but he has missed 3 of the last 5 cuts. Last week, his putter heated up for at least 3 rounds. He was doing incredibly well on the greens. Fell off a little bit on Sunday, but still a nice tournament for him. He's just too streaky. I know Keegan kind of has this reputation. He can go crazy high, crazy low. I'm just not going to play him this week. Any thoughts, Craig?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things where I'm all about, if someone's momentum is based on them having a really hot putter, I just don't think you can count on that continuing. So, if someone's hitting the ball really well, I'll think that has some inertia to it, but putting can just vary so much from week to week.
And especially since we already saw a drop off on Sunday last week, I think maybe it was just kind of a 3-day kind of hot thing with his last stick.
Well, and I mean, it's just the difference between those putts falling and not is it's inches, So you get enough of those to fall in a row, and it's going to look like you're playing out of your mind, but really it's just variance.
Yeah, exactly. And my last fade at 7,400 is Sam Burns, 9,200 on FanDuel. He's been kind of a popular play for me. He burned me last week, so maybe that's why he's making my fade list. But he's in this low 7,000 price range where actually there's like so many plays. He's missed 2 of the last 3 cuts at TBC Summerlin. He's volatile right now. He might get a top 10, might get a top 20, but he's kind of been a darling the last little bit, and he's disappointed. So I think he'll go low own, and a lot of people will be fading him, but for good reason. And at that price range, Craig, you dropped all your sleepers, I think, between 7,300 and 7,000. So make sure to check out that video, because I think pretty much any of the 3 you picked, I would rather play than Sam Burns right now.
Yeah, I mean, Sam Burns might have upside, but I just don't really, in stronger fields like this, I don't love the play. Watch him go out and go crazy making birdies in the first couple of days here, but I'm fine staying away from him this week.
Yeah. All right, Craig, who are you fading this week?
Well, the first one here is a pretty aggressive fade.
I like it. I like aggressive fades. I don't like this fade.
So Bryson DeChambeau, he's coming in at 11.8 on DraftKings and 12.2 on FanDuel. And, this is really, it's not that I think Bryson DeChambeau is going to go out there and miss the cut. It's not that I don't think that he has a good chance of winning. It's more just I think that He's got a really good course history here, and he's coming off a major win. So it's one of these ones where I think his ownership's going to get a little bit crazy. And I've gone with the chalk sometimes. I'm going to fade it this week. I think he almost needs, if he's going to be that high owned and that price, he almost needs to win for you to get value for that. Unless you get the top 5 and whoever happens to win, you have as well.
Right.
I would rather take, if so. First off, he only has 2 top 10s in the last 7 starts. So we're acting like Bryson has been dominating golf, like he's been John Rahm and Dustin Johnson and Bryson DeChambeau all rolled into one. But it's not the case. So yes, he had a dominant win at the U.S. Open under very different circumstances.
Completely different course. I mean, completely different
course. And he was great in every aspect of the game there. But I don't think so. His strokes gain approach, part of the reason they were so good there was because he was doing such a good job out of that really long rough, whereas no one else was. And I think strokes gain approach might be a little bit his weakness right now, as we've talked about previously, and as has been somewhat reflected in the stats until the U.S. Open. So if that is the case, and he's not able to, yes, he's going to get closer to holes, but if he's still not able to turn those into birdie putts and make the birdies, then it's
okay.
He's got a good chance of winning.
He's going to make a lineup of mine for sure. I just think he's probably the most likely person in the field to win. Maybe he has a 7, 8, 9% chance to win. So I want to make sure I do have one lineup with him, but I will probably be underweight than the rest of the field on him. I think the way I go contrarian with him is I feel like everyone still underplays how well of a putter he is, and he has been for years, a top 40, top 30 putter on the PGA Tour. So the way I might build my Bryson lineup is to build it as the top kind of putters and hope that group does well together, not the bombers, which I think most people do. They put him with Champ, they put him with Wolf, whoever else.
I totally agree. I mean, I think people are coming around to the fact that Bryson's a good putter now, but it's still the distance that's takes the headlines. And so just on that note, real quick, the last 3 winners of this tournament, Kevin Na was 28th in driving distance when he won. Bryson won a couple years ago. He was 30th in driving distance. That was the different Bryson, where actually approach was more of his strength. And then Cantley was 13th. Year before that. So it's not like you need to be the longest in the field to win here.
Not at all.
So it's going to come down to how he hits into greens and we'll see what happens with the putter. I mean, that's the thing about putting, is that anything can happen. And on that note, actually, I will roll into last year's champion, Kevin Na. He's coming in at 8,600 on DraftKings and 9,500 on FanDuel. I mean, right there you can see there's a little bit. The 8,600 on DraftKings is over the average, and 95 on. So this is much more a DraftKings fade, I guess. But I think that with Kevin Na, I think ownership based on his win last year is going to be a little bit higher than I'm willing to take. And I just don't like the price. If you look at the people around him, I like a lot of other people around there better. And, like we're saying, with anyone gets hot putting, they can win it. He was gaining 3.5 strokes a round last year putting. So if you think about that, it's a perfect storm for him to go out there and win it.
It's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Now he does have a good course history, so he has another win. I want to say it was 2011, and he has a second place here as well. So he has high finishes, but he's also, before last year he had missed 2 cuts in a row here. So it's just super volatile. I don't want to overpay for him, face high ownership, and rely on him having to get hot with the putter. So
I like it. I usually like to the fade winners the previous year and winners the previous tournament, and he fits into that category. So, yeah, I think they're usually too price inflated, and that shows definitely in DraftKings.
Yeah. Lastly, I've got Aaron Wise here. He's coming in at 7,400 on DraftKings, 9,300 on FanDuel. You were just telling me that he is a Las Vegas resident, so he might have a bit of a bump because of that. But I just don't like the price. If you look around him, like you were saying, I've got a lot of sleepers that I chose around that range, and I think you had a couple too. But so if you look at his play since June, since the COVID return, he has a tied for 17th last week at Sanderson. He had an 8th at the Barracuda, which is an opposite field event, and then a tied for 46 at Travelers. And he's the other 6 tournaments he's played and he's missed the cut. So I just don't see why I would pay that price for him.
I think it's completely crazy. I almost wanted to play him this week, and I was searching for his name in like the 66, 6700s, and it wasn't there. And then he's grouped around all Brendan Steele, Streelman, Adam Hadwin, Ventura, all these guys. I completely agree. The price seems only on last week. He played well last week, and it seems huge bumped up because of that.
Yeah. And just as a general strategy, I think that can be a good thing, is that like don't buy too much into what happened last week. It's going to affect the price, but golf is super inconsistent and there's tons of variance. So as everyone else is looking at who played well last week, like maybe think about fading those guys.
A bigger sample size here. All right, so my fades are Jason Kokrak, 8,900 on DraftKings, Keegan Bradley, 8,000, and Sam Burns, 7,400.
And I've got the big guy, Bryson DeChambeau, at 11,800. May come to regret that one. We'll see. Kevin Na at 8,600 and Aaron Wise at 7,400.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. As mentioned at the top, we have our DFS Picks show and our DFS Sleeper show, so make sure to check that out. We also will be going live on Twitch, 9 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, to do a full breakdown of the DFS field. Please subscribe and like to our channel. We really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Good luck, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah.